Hi everyone, it's Kayleen here from Startup Creative and I'm coming to you live from Byron Bay in December. And I want to share with you today a video called 90 Days of 2019. So what I'm going to do is run you through a bit of a workshop kind of series that I'm going to encourage you to do in your own time. So I'll run you through it today and step you through it, and then take as many notes as you want and then apply it whenever is in a good time for you. But what I really want to encourage as to why I think this is a really good time to be doing it is that in December we have this kind of beautiful festive season happening, right? Where everyone's a bit more light and excited and energized by the year that's been, what's Christmas and all the festiveness of the year, right? So it's a really beautiful time to start to set intentions for the new year. Sorry, I feel like this video is a bit crooked. To start to set some intentions for your new year of what it is that you want to create. So for those of you who are at home and you want to know what an intention is, let's start there before we get into how to actually plan and start, bringing together your 2019. An intention is an opportunity for you to get super clear on exactly what you want. And you've probably heard it before. Majority of the reason people don't get what they want in life is because they don't know what they want. So clearing time in your day and your life to sit down and actually get super clear about your desires and your wants and your needs and your goals and the future that you want to create for yourself is the first step to actually getting it. So getting super clear about that vision, because what I'll talk to you about is creating those neural pathways in your mind where you can actually start to visualize and feel and experience a future for yourself that hasn't yet come to life, but that you can start to actually teach your brain how that it is a possibility for you and that you can have that. So intention setting is all about getting super clear on what you want, and I'll teach you a little bit how to do that. But now is the best time to be doing it at the end of the year, because the new year is far off enough, and January still feels, whilst it's mid-December, it still feels far enough away that we can dream and hope, right? If it's too close, we're like, it's not possible. But it's further enough away that we can actually go, ooh, what's possible in that clean slate in that new year? Which means that we can access this beautiful dreamy state in our minds. And before our analytical mind, which is the mind that kind of rationalizes and produces a lot of self-doubt and but could that really work and how would it work and all those things. Before we allow that analytical mind to kick in, we actually want to be able to dream into a state that is like possibilities, right? So I feel like now is a really good time to do that, because we're also close enough to the end of 2018 that we can reflect on what worked really well, or what did we love about 2018, and can almost romanticize it a little bit, but also still close enough to take our lessons from it, okay, which I think is really important. And then what the purpose of visualizing and setting an intention is that when we create enough space and we take time out of our everyday and we create new space to actually go, what do I really deeply, truly want for myself? We actually start to focus on our future. We actually start to look at what is truly possible, and doors open, things start to happen. When we're focusing too much on the past and we're worrying about what didn't work, or even sometimes if we don't even think that far ahead, then we just end up going step by step, like we're in this kind of rut and we just get by doing stuff. And we don't have this beautiful, glamorous, amazing thing that we can go, you know what, that's what this step by step is for. That's where I'm headed. That's where I want to go. So when we create that intention and we actually visualize a future, we're starting to wire into our brains, and this is neuroscience, into our brains, that future is possible for us. So just like, a little kid dreaming of what if I won the lotto or found $50 on the street, or what is Santa gonna bring me, or whatever, right? It's when we're dreaming into that, we actually start to activate emotions in us, and we actually start to feel into a future that is possible for us. And when we do that, we're actually changing our chemistry in our body, and we're actually starting to commit to something that hasn't yet happened, but we can start to see and visualize our way through that life. And as a result, we're actually changing our brains. And our brains don't know the difference between a visualization and a dream and an intention and what's reality. So when you fire and wire that neuro pathway of this is the future that I want for myself and this is what I'm going to create in 2019, your brain actually is like, cool, that's happening, right? And it starts firing those neuro pathways in your mind. So I'm a really big believer, and you've probably heard me say it before, is what you focus on expands. So looking into that future, looking into the dreams and the goals and the intentions is going to keep you moving in that direction. And, I wrote a post about this today, if anyone saw it on Instagram, is that even though the world around you can be chaotic and that your emotional body is full of self-doubt, or people, the reactions you're getting back, or maybe the lack of reactions that you're getting in your business can be all, negative or slow or hard or, not exactly what you imagined. If you hold that intention for a future that you desire and that you want, you're gonna keep moving in that direction. Like, you will keep going, well, I want that, I want that so bad, I'm not prepared to stop until I get it. So that is why we set intentions, and that is why I really believe deep down that setting them now, while you're still in a clear mindset, before your analytical mind starts going, well, what about the emails that you have to send, and it's, you've just been, eating all this food over Christmas, so now you need to go running instead of writing those blog posts, or whatever, like all of the different things that are going to pop up and try and distract us or pull us into the day-to-day, rather than inspire us and keep us in this dream kind of state where we believe that anything is possible. So my advice to you is to ride on the bandwagon of the Christmas magic that's happening and the New Year's fresh start that everyone feels, and start to set your intentions early. And what you'll see with this process is that if you can do this now, then you'll probably start to notice some action points that need to happen now in order to create the first 90 days of your new year, or really early next year. But you'll be so clear about what needs to happen that when the new year kicks in, you'll be like, all right, cool, I know exactly what I need to do. I'm going to pull out my January list and start actioning it. Right? So it means you get to start ahead of the game whilst everyone's coming down off their hangovers or, food comas and that. Okay, it's a new year. What am I doing this year? All right, can't really remember what happened last year because, that was last year and it's New Year's now. So, and they're kind of playing catch up. You guys get to start the new year fresh, right? You go, right, we did this in December. Like, let's pull that plan out and let's action it and let's hit the ground running, right? And this is what the keys to success is, right? Is doing stuff when everyone else is having a party or, winding down and being like, oh, the year's over, or I'm caught up in Christmas chaos. I don't care. Find time, sit down, set your intentions, and start your year with a fucking bang, right? So let's do this. We're going to plan the first 90 days of 2019. Feel free to chime in with any questions if it doesn't make sense. So the first thing that I want you to do is to review 2018. So that's what I was saying before around looking at what worked and what didn't work. The first thing is just to brain dump, grab a pen and paper and just get this really clear, separate from a diary or anything, because we don't necessarily want to keep it. I think what we want to do is brainstorm on one side, what worked, what were your highlights? And I want you to write down 3 things that you loved or that you noticed or that you, minimum of 3. Feel free to go wild if you have more, of all the things that worked for 2018 for you, okay? So if you launched a course and it went amazing, or you started a podcast, or you went on a holiday, or whatever, right? What worked really well? The second list I want you to make on the other side of the paper is what didn't work. What were the lowlights? Where did you stuff up? Maybe you dropped the ball. Maybe you got bad feedback. Maybe, product didn't arrive on time. Whatever it was, look at what didn't work for the year. What were your biggest lessons? What were your lowlights? And don't be afraid to just face it, right? Where did you fuck up? Where did you really could have done better? Or maybe, you made the wrong call. You didn't listen to your heart, or you said yes to something you shouldn't have. What were your lowlights from the year? And write those down. And then just look at them and read them and observe them and be present with them and go, what are my lessons here? Maybe you spontaneously spoke at an event and it generated a lot of inquiries for you. So maybe it's looking at that and that was a highlight and you're like, cool, like maybe next year I need to, like a lesson for that is that I'm really good at speaking at events, and it's a good lead gen for the business. So then you can actually make that as a list of something that you as an action that you might like to have for the new year. And then again with the lowlights, okay, so what lessons did you have to learn that we do not want to repeat and bring into our new year? And we can burn those lessons. Once you've written it all down and you've figured it out what your lessons were from your lowlights, burn that list. Like, I am all about energetically, ritualistically, physically burning it so that you can leave it in the past, okay? Take your lessons, get the gold, and then let it go. The next thing that I want, so step number 2 for you is, that's how, highlights, lowlights, what are the lessons, and then burn the piece of paper, get rid of it. Step number 2. What I want you to sit down and go, this is one of the most powerful things about intentions and goal settings. And I've actually had to recalibrate my own goals out of this process as well. Cool, love it, Jules. All about burning the bad stuff. Is that your goals and your desires and your dreams and your intentions are not necessarily about the actual things that you want to achieve, okay? So for me, it's maybe not so much about sharing my magazine. I could sit down and write a goal and say, I want to launch 4 magazines in 2019. But then I want to really look behind that and go, well, what is that going to bring me? And what's my purpose for that? And why do I want to do it? And what is my intention behind it? Why would I be doing that? And sometimes it's a bit out of ego. And if you've been in business for a while and you spend a lot of time learning and reading, it's really easy for us to go, okay, these are all the things that I read. This is how many emails or how many times on Instagram I should be posting. And I'm so guilty of this, is I set these goals for myself. I'm like, do this, and this. But it's not really aligned to my heart. And it's just an action from my head because I know that that's what works or that's what I should be doing in business. And something that I've been working on, which is realigning to, well, what is my heart's desire and what is my purpose? And if I was to write a to-do list based on how I think I should, how I want to feel and the legacy that I want to leave in this world, then that's a completely different to-do list compared to just, pumping out stuff, blogs, or, putting money behind Facebook ads, or, doing a marketing strategy that I know from my head. So what I want you to do is step number 2 is what I learnt from Danielle Laporte is your core desired feelings. So what are 3 desired feelings that you want for 2019? How do you want to feel? So before we look at goals or intentions or anything, how do you actually want to feel and experience the world in 2019? Perhaps you want to be empowered. Perhaps you want to be passionate. Maybe you want to be in flow. Maybe your life is easier or joy or connected, like really go wild with thinking, how do you want to feel in 2019? And, sometimes we brain dump lots and lots of words. And sometimes we, and then cull it down. And what I would encourage you to do is find 3 to 4 words that describe how you want to feel in 2019. So you might want to feel radiant. You might want to feel powerful. You might want to feel abundant, right? Whatever that is. So step number 2 is pick your core desired feelings. The next thing I want you to do is to close your eyes and to visualize that life. So based on those feelings, this is where you can really start to listen to your heart and your truth and your purpose. Because from our mind, we might be able to, and this is me speaking like hand on heart, really honestly with you guys about being like, I am so guilty of this. Like, my mind is fucking strong and she wants to be the boss and she wants to control everything and she wants to action all of her stuff, all of her knowledge that she learns on blogs and podcasts and, from being in business and learning from professionals. But then my heart is like, well, we actually want to teach people this, we don't want to write blog posts about, practical business stuff. We want to weave more of this like meditation or mindfulness in. So what I've started to do is to actually close my eyes and see if you can tune into your heart. So based on the 3 words that you chose as your core desired feelings, if you were to close your eyes and go, what does that look like? What does that life feel like? Where does that, so for example, perhaps one of my words is I want to be radiant. So perhaps I close my eyes and radiance for me is glowing skin. It's a toned body. It's being out in nature. It's being present in a conversation. It's enjoying drinking lots of amazing water and fresh produce, so that's what I see when I close my eyes and I see radiance, right? So close your eyes and to pick those 3 words and see what that looks like and feels like, and be prepared to sit in silence and see if you can tune into your heart. And sometimes I just put my hand on my heart just to like, okay, the heart is, I want to hear from the heart, not the mind. And see what comes through. So from a business perspective, you might be like, well, I want to feel abundant. And so maybe abundance for you is making money digitally online, or perhaps abundance for you is facilitating a workshop in front of, 100 people. What does that look like, feel like? How do you see yourself experiencing those emotions? And then once you've opened your eyes, grab a pen and paper and brain dump it all out. So everything that you desire. I want to present. I want to be running every day. I want to be in a relationship. I want to eat from my garden. I want, whatever it is, brain dump it all out on a piece of paper. Everything that you desire. Everything that you see. And then step number 5 is just go back and check it against your core desired feelings. Because perhaps one of your desired feelings was, freedom. And maybe one of the things that you visualized was that you were running a subscription website, or you are setting up a company that is a gift boxing, postage service or whatever. And maybe freedom doesn't align with that. Maybe freedom means you can't travel the world, and because you have to be on an online call that you've committed to every week, or that you have to be in a warehouse where you can pack and send your boxes. So check, and that's where you can start to see where the mind has said, well, you're the girl that runs the online courses or whatever, and your mind is attached to that. But your heart is actually going, you know what, we desire to have a laptop lifestyle where we can work out the back of a car traveling around Australia if we wanted to, right? So brain dump it all out and then just check it against your core desired feelings and see if there's anything that's out of alignment and cross that off. And then the 6th step is to start to pick out some action points and some things that you want some of the things that you visualized and you saw, and then let's start to map them out into a 12-month process. So, for example, if one of your things was, I want to eat from my garden. So really easy one, you can be like, cool, do I have an edible garden? Okay, no, I don't. How long is it gonna take for me to have an edible garden? Well, I need to go and get some planter boxes, and then I need to prepare the gardens, and then I need to plant the food and allow time for it to grow. So we can actually go, okay, well, realistically, maybe to eat from my garden is a 6-month goal, right? Or a 4-month goal, depending on what you're planning. And start to go, put those realistically, maybe it's launching an online course. Okay, well, realistically, it's going to take me 3 months to write that course, or maybe it's 6 months by the time I write it, design it, launch, do a proper launch strategy, get it up, get it for sale, happening. Realistically, it's 6 months away. Perhaps I want to spend a month in Italy. Okay, cool. Well, let's do that in October. By the time I save enough money and get flights and take time off work or whatever. So start to put your goals in a 12-month calendar. So, you might just grab a pen and paper and draw out 12 months. You can do it really rough and then transfer it to something more inspiring for your wall if you wanted. But start to realistically put out some of these goals of where you think that they will realistically be able to happen. And then the trick is to work backwards from here. So what are the action points that we need to start to take? So if we go back to the edible garden, let's say it's a 4-month goal. So let's go January, February, March, April. We want to be eating from our garden 3 meals or, a week. So cool, let's work backwards from that. When do we need to have things planted by? We need to have them planted by March. Cool. So, maybe we actually, you could actually probably make that probably a 2 or 3 month goal. Where you go, okay, I'm going to buy my planter boxes. I can buy them now and get them put together. And then in January, and then I'm going on holidays. So January, I'm going to order all of the fill for it. And then I'm going to dedicate a Sunday to putting it all together. And then I'm going to make sure that I have it all planted by the 1st of February so that in 2 months' time, I've got food ready to eat in my garden, right? Does that make sense for everyone? Feel free to chime in if any of this isn't making sense. But what I want you to start to think about is setting your goals out, visualizing what you want, setting them out, and then working backwards from them. And this is what I said at the very start of the video, is that what you will find is that some of these goals that we want, and maybe we want them in the first 90 days of 2019, is we actually need to start taking action now. We need to start preparing to take action really early in the new year. So the goal is to work backwards from the goal. So wherever you put it in the month, then work backwards. And just you could just set the goal at the top of a piece of paper, like grab a new piece of paper, write, the edible garden or the online course or setting up a website or whatever, and then work backwards and go, what needs to happen in order for that website to launch? Okay, I need a logo, I need a designer, I need a domain name, I need copy, I need photos, I need e-commerce, I need a bank account, I need PayPal, all of the things, right? And then you can go, okay, well, realistically, when can I afford the web designer, and how long is the web design going to take? And let's allow some space for, for a delay in the timeline and the delivery on it or whatever, right? So then you can work backwards and go, well, actually, realistically starting a website in April is a little bit too soon, or, I might need to push it out to June, or maybe I'm going to start right now and tomorrow and take action on inquiring for a web designer. So that, by the time holidays happen, blah, 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 I'm ready to go in March. Does that make sense for everyone? Feel free to chime in. And then so once we've worked backwards, then I want you to start making some actionable, setting the actions in every single month. So this is where the first 90 days come in 2019, right? Is that we can start to add actions to every single month. So what I want you to do is, once you've got those goals throughout the year and you've figured out what needs to happen in order to that goal to get off the ground, what can you put in place every single month from the 1st of January that is going to, even if you do the first, you could do as many as you want, but this one's about the first 90 days, which is 3 months, is what is in the first 90 days, I want you to have actions every single month for those goals. So to make this achievable, when you brain dump out your desires and you've checked them with your core desired feelings and you've put them realistically on your map, let's pick 5 of those goals that we want for the new year, or our intentions for the new year, and let's put them at the top of a paper, and then we're going to brain dump what steps need to happen in order to get us to those goals. And then I want you to go and realistically put them into January, February, March. What actions are you going to take in the direction of those 5 goals? If you're feeling it, do way more. If that's too much, you can definitely start with 3. So I'm just going to try and make this a little bit brighter because it feels really dark. So make sure there's actions in every single month. So I did write an example here that I thought I'd share. So for me, in 2019, I want to feel powerful. So for me, when I close my eyes, this looks and feels and sounds like presenting workshops. Okay, I see myself presenting more workshops in 2019. So realistically, for me, if I was to put that on a 12-month map, then I would aim for my first workshop to kick off in March in Melbourne. So that's realistically where I've put that goal of what I envisioned based on my core desired feelings. Then my next step is to go, well, what actions need to happen? So what needs to happen in order for that workshop to launch in Melbourne in March? I need to email the people that I want to collaborate with now. I need to come up with a title and write a biography. I need to get some graphics made. I probably could start a mailing list and get people who are interested in workshops in Melbourne to start signing up for that mailing list. I could, does that make sense? So I have my actions there. And then what I'm going to do is to divvy those actions up into January, February, March. Okay, so posting it on social media will probably happen in March. Getting graphics made might happen in February, and I can, someone's saying something up from Melbourne, will do. Getting graphics made might happen in February. So I can actually start to then keep myself accountable. So I've already set deadlines for how I'm going to get that workshop off the ground I've already, when I look at that particular goal, it's kind of why I did this workshop, is that I look at it and go, okay, well, realistically, launching that in March is going to, there's things that I can do now to make sure that's 100% abundantly successful and a quality workshop that is going to be great value for people. I can start working on that now and taking action in order for that to happen. So it's kind of like when you create space to really dream into your new year now, you actually get a bit of a head start on the game. If that makes sense. So that's my example. I'm going to run through that really quickly again. The first thing I want you to do is review your pros and cons from the year. What are your lessons? And then burn that piece of paper. Get rid of it. The second thing is, what are the words that you desire? What are your core desired feelings for 2019? Then close your eyes and visualize what that looks, feels, sounds like. Walk yourself through your life with those emotions present and alive and being led, feeling like that. Once you've opened your eyes, brain dump everything. Maybe you saw yourself on stage, or collaborating with a certain brand, or in a relationship, or having a baby, or buying a car, or starting a business, whatever it is. And then check them against your core desired feelings. Make sure they are aligned from your heart and not from your mind. And then realistically on your map, on your 12-month map, where do those goals need to go? So maybe a baby, that's 9 months, trying for a baby, getting a partner. Maybe I need to download Tinder today, in order to get that goal for December next year. If that's a goal for you. Make it quick, realistically on the map, where does it need to go? And then work backwards. What actions need to happen in order for that to come to fruition? And then put those actions into months, to-do lists for the months, so that you can keep yourself accountable. So when will you achieve those actions by? Feel free to put some dates in there as well. If you would like some business coaching on any of this or all of this, or perhaps some of your action points is to get a mentor or a coach, or get some support, or surround yourself with a community, I am advertising the last few business coaching sessions. Actually, funnily enough, a lot of January and February is already full. There is a handful of scattered coaching sessions in there. So if you would like to book in one of those, please send me a DM, or you can email me, Kayleen@startupcreative.com.au, or hello@startupcreative is the same email address. Let me know. I would love to help you out. I would love for you to have an amazing start to 2019, to set some goals that really inspire you. I have a handful of 3-month packages left, which is where I work with you one-on-one every fortnight, or sometimes people do it monthly over 6 months. And we set these goals. So the first session we sit down and we go, right, this is what you want to achieve. And then I go away and create a bit of a plan for that. And then every fortnight or month we catch up. I give you a list of things to do. You go away and do it. You get support in between, whether it's, sometimes I have clients on WhatsApp being like, MailChimp's being a bitch, I don't know how to handle it. And I'm like, oh, you just need to do this. Or, we send voice memos saying, you can do it, don't give in. So I really love working with people over that time period where we get to get some real results and really, launch websites and make dreams come true. So if that's something that you would like to commit to for yourself and your business in 2019, then let me know. I have a couple of spots left for that capacity of coaching. And I would love to work with you and see what you have in store for 2019. So give me a shout. Otherwise, good luck with your process. I hope it helps, and let me know how you go. I'd love to hear some of your results or some of your goals for what you're going to bring into life in 2019. Thanks so much for joining, guys, and stay in touch, and I'll see you soon.